been stuck in the same loop of questions, you know how it feels. Questions like, is this really the life I want? And here's the real problem. If we don't do something to change things, these questions will still be right there, waiting for you years from now. The good news is there is a way forward. I'll show you how to start shifting out of the fog and into a clearer direction. So, when the same questions keep circling around in your head, should I stay in this relationship? Why do things feel so off? Why am I restless? And what do I actually want? It's not just you being indecisive. It's your brain refusing to let something unresolved slip into the background. Psychologists have actually shown that unfinished tasks or concerns don't fade away from our brains on their own. Our brains hate unfinished business and will keep circling back to try to finish it. This creates what they call cognitive tension, which just means that your brain is struggling to figure this thing out. It keeps dragging you back to these same questions because it can sense that there's a problem here. And the brain, if anything, is a problem-solving machine. And if you have questions like this that are circling in your mind, especially that keep you awake at night or that just keep coming back week after week, month after month, even year after year, that means that you haven't solved this issue. There's an issue in your life that remains unresolved, and the brain hates that, so it's going to keep bugging you about it. Hoping that life will just kind of sort itself out rarely works, because this loop in our brains is hardwired into us. Until we face the problem differently, the brain will keep circling around this same ground. And here's where we usually get it wrong. I've done this. These questions, we try to dismiss them. We tell ourselves that we're just tired or stressed out or that we've had a lot of things going on. And oftentimes that's probably true. We probably are busy. We probably are stressed out. There probably is a lot going on. So it kind of makes sense to us. So we just kind of shove it under the rug, or we try to. And sometimes we even shame ourselves for asking these questions like, this life doesn't feel quite right yet and I would like something else, but then we feel bad about asking for that or wanting that. The truth that I've learned over many years and going through this many times myself is that these questions keep surfacing because they're coming from your inner self. This isn't something that we need to feel bad about or that we should feel guilty or shamed about. It's something that is true to us, and it's saying, you know, this isn't quite right and we need to fix it. The brain is circling this issue because it knows it's a problem for us. And you can ignore them and push them down and try to just keep going, but they're still shaping how you feel. And you've probably noticed this if you're going through this. They're still popping up and making you feel uncertain and restless and like you just can't relax. So this is why trying to brush them off doesn't work. If you have something like this that's coming back day after day, month after month, year after year, that's not just stress and that's not just, you having some character flaw. That is information. That is data that you can use to improve your life. So if a question keeps returning in your life, it's likely pointing to something important, something that your future self doesn't want you to keep avoiding. So how do you know if this question is just a passing worry or just because of stress, or if it's the kind of signal that your future self is begging you to notice? Let me give you some signs. So the first way to know that this question is serious and that you want to take it seriously is that it keeps coming back in different seasons of your life. Some questions are tied to a specific moment. You can have a bad day at work and wonder if you're still cut out for this job, but then the next day things can get better and off you go again. Not talking about that kind of question. I'm talking about the ones that keep circling back, no matter what the situation might be. Maybe you've asked yourself, do I really want to keep going in this job? I feel unfulfilled in this job. You know you need to do something that challenges you more. Or maybe you've asked yourself, I don't know if this relationship is right anymore. Maybe you've asked yourself, I would really like to start my own business, but I don't know if I should. I probably don't have the expertise for it. These are the type of questions that can keep coming back in your life. You might look down the road and say, I don't know if I want to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If you imagine the kind of future that you want to have for yourself, if where you are right now isn't it, and your brain keeps going, we need to make a change, and that question keeps circling back, that's a sign that this is an important piece of data that you need to listen to. The second sign that this is not just random stress or burnout or, a bad day is that this question shows up in more than one place. So maybe it shows up when you can't go to sleep and you're still thinking about if you should change occupations. The same thought pops up while you're taking a road trip, or maybe you're driving to see relatives and it pops up again. Or you're talking with a friend and up comes this subject again and this question that's circling in your head. Let's say, for an example, that you're questioning a relationship that you're in. Could be any type of relationship. Could be a business relationship, a romantic relationship, friend relationship. Is this a relationship I want to continue? Might be the question in your head. You might think it surfaces only after you've had an argument or a conflict. But then if you catch the question coming up again during a holiday, or while you're scrolling social media, or when you're, taking a quiet walk and nothing's really wrong, and all of a sudden this question pops up again, that kind of spread across different parts of your life tells you that this is important data that you need to pay attention to, that it's not just tied to an emotion of the moment. The third sign that this is an important question if it keeps coming back is that it carries an emotional charge. You know how some thoughts just skim across your mind and you don't really have a reaction to them, they just kind of come and go, no big deal. But the ones that matter land a little differently inside you. They might make your stomach drop, or might rev up your pulse, or might make you feel nervous in the moment. Maybe your chest tightens, or you feel kind of a heaviness settle on you all of a sudden. That response is a clue. Maybe you've asked yourself something like, why do I feel like I'm not really living? And every time this question comes up, you feel maybe a mix of fear or maybe a sense of longing. Fear because this question would require you to change something about your life, and change is always frightening. And longing because part of you wants more. I mean, maybe you're looking out at a sunset one night and this thought comes up. And then it comes up again when you see a beautiful tree or an animal that strikes you. And always when this thought comes up, there's an emotional charge attached to it. It doesn't just come and go. It creates an emotion inside of you. That means that this question matters. So if you notice that these three things are true about the recurring questions that are going on in your head right now, understand that these questions are probably signals. And once you start tracking them, you'll see the themes that are pointing you toward your next direction. And this is the cool thing that I've discovered through my research and experience, is that if you treat these recurring questions as signals and you start catching them and tracking them, you can gain information from your own life that helps you get clear about the next step that you need to take. Because often the problem that we face when we have questions like this recurring is we don't really know what to do next, or perhaps we're afraid that we'll make the wrong choice about what to do next. But we can take a different approach to these questions that I talk about on thenextstoryproject.com that can make it a lot easier to figure out what you should do next. The first step is always just to start listening. This is the easiest thing you can do right away. Instead of brushing off these questions or the emotions that they create, the first thing you can do is just allow them to be, to listen to what they're saying to you, and to treat them like they matter, because they do. They're important, or they wouldn't keep coming back. And you don't have to solve anything. You don't have to take any action right away. You just have to simply be willing to listen and let this be, and to acknowledge that yes, this is important. So if a question comes up again, resist that urge to just roll your eyes and say, okay, here it comes again. Instead, pause and ask yourself, okay, this keeps returning. That means something. Shifting from dismissal to recognition is the first step toward clarity. For example, you might have the thought, do I want to keep living here? Come up again and again and again. Maybe it's surfaced many, many times over the past year, and you're noticing that it keeps coming back. Simply naming it as a pattern or a recurring signal from your life helps you to respect it rather than ignore it. It's a great first step. The second thing you can do is create a space where you can catch these signals. Just catch the questions when they show up. And what I mean by catch is that you record it somehow. So that might mean having a journal that you start that keeps track of these questions that keep showing up and when they show up and how you feel when they show up. Or it might mean having a document on your computer where you record this, or just a notes app on your phone. Something that helps you record and get down kind of as data when these questions show up, what happened before they showed up, how you feel about them. Just get that data down and start tracking it. It's amazing how much this can help when we're facing a potential change in our future that can always be a little bit nerve-wracking. You can take, 2, 3 to 5 minutes just to jot down these quick observations, then go about your life. But over time, if you continue this, you're going to start creating a log of when this is showing up, which is going to give you a lot of helpful data. So if you'd like some help with this, I have a free tool that can make it really easy to get started. It's called the Signals Journal, 7 Signs Your Life is Asking for a Change. It's a short, practical guide that helps you tell the difference between just a passing mood and a deeper signal that something in your life is calling for a shift. You can find the links in the description below. So the questions that won't leave you alone, most of the time they're here to guide you. So the sooner that you start acknowledging them, catching them, and tracking them, the sooner you can stop circling around this uncomfortable place in your life and start moving forward forward again. Thanks for being here. Remember, your life's plotting something, so you might as well start eavesdropping. I'll see you next time.